Good afternoon, Year 6. It's Mr. Tuckwell back with a brand new week of maths learning online. I'm hoping that this week my skills at YouTubing will have improved ever so slightly and the explanations become clearer. We will see in due course. So to start with, as always, I would like us to have a go at a warm-up. And this week, it's all going to be about fractions. There are 5 questions in front of you that are all related to adding fractions. I'd like you to have a go at them. And then in a short while, I will go through the answers. I'm going to focus in particular on the 2 questions that are here, this one and this one. So 2/3 add 1/4 and 5/6 add 4/5 I will go through. So if you're struggling, I will show you how to do that. Press pause on your video and have a go at the questions. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so hopefully you've had a go at the following questions. Now, if you struggle, I'm just going to go through a couple of the answers. The first 2 questions are quite simple because they've got the same denominator of 6 on the first question and 7 on the second question. So it's very simple just to add together the numerators. 3/6 add 1/6 equals 4/6, and 2/7 add 3/7 equals 5/7. The next question, I've seen a clip on YouTube that will show you how to do this. A teacher has modelled and filmed herself writing the answer with pen and paper, and that's on the home learning log, but it's also the URL that's here. I'll try and zoom in a little bit so you can see it, and zoom it back out because I'm going to have a go now at attempting to show you and to demonstrate this question here. Now, I'd really like to have my flip chart and pen, but we're not in school at the moment, so I'm having to use a mouse and a freehand pen on notebook file to try and demonstrate. We'll see how we get on. It won't be perfect, but hopefully it'll give you an idea. Now, the first thing we've got to notice is we've got 5/6 add 4/5, and the 2 denominators, 6 and 5, are different. So we have got to make these fractions have the same denominator. And the first step that we're going to do is to work out the lowest common multiple of 6 and 5. The lowest common multiple of 6 and 5 is 30. So we're going to give both fractions the denominator of 30. So I'm just going to quickly now write in 30 under both of these fractions here. And you'll have to excuse my writing. It's really difficult to write with a pen and a mouse, but it's the nearest I can have to a flip chart online. So we've got 30 there and 30 here. So we've got to get 5/6 to equal something over 30. Now, we called this in Year 6 the Burger method, and we had to work out how many times is 30 bigger than 6, or what do I have to multiply 6 by to equal 30? It's very simple, but it has to be multiplied by 5. So I have to do the same with the numerator over here. I have to multiply 5 by 5 to then get an equivalent fraction, which will be 25 over 30. And so far, this is looking like a fraction. I can read it there, 25 over 30. Now, I've got to do exactly the same with the 4/5. We know that the fraction has got to equal a denominator over 30. So I'm going to just quickly write in the 30 there and then work out how many times bigger is 30 than 5, or how many lots of 5 add together to make 30. And that in this case is 6. So I'm going to just quickly multiply 5 by 6 to make 30. And I've got to do exactly the same now with this number here, this 4. I'm just short of space slightly, so I'm just going to have to write it really small under here. I have to multiply 4 by 6, which will then give me 24. I'm going to write 24 over there, like so. So we now know that 5/6 equals 25 over 30. So I'm going to write 25 over 30 here, because I know that's what 5/6 is equal to. And I know that 4/5 is equal to 24 over 30. So I just write 24, oh, it's a bit tricky, over 30, like so. And then I've got to add these together. So 25 add 24 is going to be 49, and I have then 49 as the answer over 30. Now I'm just going to look on the next page, because on the next page I've got the answers written down. I'm just going to go through how else you can write that answer. Okay, so here are the answers. We've got 3/6 or 1/6, I've just said, was 4/6. 2/7 or 3/7 is 5/7. 2/3 add 1/4 is 11/12, as demonstrated by the teacher on the YouTube video. And here's the one that I demonstrated. 5/6 plus 4/5 equals 49/30. Now that is the improper fraction. It could also equal 1 and 19/30. And the same with this fraction here, 2/7 add 3/4 equals 29/28 as an improper fraction, or 1 and 1/28 as a mixed number. Okay, hopefully you managed to succeed at those. We're going to have a practice tomorrow at some more working with fractions as our input. Okay, so now we move on to the main part of the lesson. It's the second lesson in the chapter on position in Maths No Problem. And here we've got a challenge. It says, describe the positions of the two birds. We have a red bird here, a blue bird here, and it wants the positions relative to this dot here. Where are they in relation to the person that's watching them? Now, in lesson or in class, you'd be asked to measure this, both of these, but you can't do that because you're at home and it wouldn't work. So I've put in the measurements, which is 8 centimetres here and 5 centimetres here. Now Hannah says that 1 centimetre stands for 1 metre. So you've got to work out how much that's going to be in metres. But importantly, where are they in relation to this yellow dot here? I'm going to pause the video. I'd like you to do the same, please, and just have a go at that. Either chat to a person next to you or have a go at writing some notes on a scrap piece of paper. Okay, so we've got the Let's Learn from the textbook. It's got the bird watcher here and the bird. Now 8 centimetres stands for 8 metres. Remember that 1 centimetre was 1 metre. The red bird is 8 metres from the bird watcher in a certain direction. Now it's in this way along something called the x-axis, which you'll have looked at in year 5. And Ruby says that the bird watcher is at x equals 0. So this here is 0. So therefore, the red bird has got to be -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8 metres away. Now we've looked at the red bird, we're then going to scroll down and look at the blue bird that's here. And we have Sam here, who is saying that the blue bird is at -5 because the bird watcher is at 0. We're along the y-axis and we count -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So the blue bird is at position y equals -5. Ravi here has said that we can put this onto a coordinate grid. If the bird watcher is at 0, 0, then we can say that the red bird is along the x-axis and it is at position -8. It's -1 on the x-axis, -2 on the x-axis, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8. So it's -8 along the x-axis, which we write in here. And it's 0 steps either up or down the y-axis. So it's simply put as a 0 in here. On the other hand, we have the blue bird here, which is at x equals 0 because it's not moved along, backwards, or up the x-axis. It's on the 0 line and it hasn't moved any more steps along or back. And it's at -5 along the y-axis. So we simply write it as 0, -5. The bird watcher is at 0, 0. It's at the point there. It's neither across the x or up the x-axis or up and down the y-axis. Now for your first guided task today, I would like you to look at the coordinate grid here. And if I zoom in, I'm hoping that we can then have this on full screen and we can see this a little bit more clearly. And I would like you to write down the letters here and the coordinates which the letters are on. Pause the video and spend a couple of minutes just having a go on a scrap piece of paper, or if you're lucky enough to have an adult or another person alongside you, share with them where these coordinates are. Now you've had an opportunity to do that, we'll go through the answers. So let's just zoom in and see where each one might be. So we've got the point of M that's here, it's -4 across the x-axis, so -1, -2, -3, -4, and it's 0 up or down. Alternatively, the point A, which is here, it's not any steps along or back along the x-axis, so it's at point 0 along the x-axis, but it's -1, -2, -3 along the y-axis. And you can then see the other coordinates of the other points written down here. I'm just going to take us out now of the full screen mode, and then we'll go on to the next. The next slide is from the workbook, and it asks you to have a go independently at firstly labelling the points here with the coordinates, and then having a go at putting the points on the coordinate grid. Now that's going to be quite difficult to do because you haven't got this in front of you. But what I suggest that you do is, if you've got a person next to you, you can have a go at showing them where you think 0, 0 is and where you think 0.0 -2 is on the device that you're using. So press pause on the video and again spend some time just having a go at answering these questions. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide and then we'll see the answers in front of us. If I just scroll down slightly, you'll then be able to see them. And if I just take that off to make it a bit clearer, you should now be able to see the answers and to see how you've got on. That's all in the Maths No Problem lesson today, but there is a game that you can play that can just help you to practice the positioning of coordinates. This is the URL here, but again, as I did last week, I'm just going to demonstrate how you can find that quickly through Google without having to type all of this in. If you go on to Google and just type in coordinates alien attack into the search bar, you'll come up with the following search results. Click on the first one from mathsframe.co.uk and then it will open up a coordinates grid and game that you can play. Simply click on the game and then press play, and I would suggest that you do all 4 quadrants, which is what we've taught. If you're not as confident, then just do 1 quadrant, but play all 4 quadrants and you've very quickly got to say where the spaceship is. So I know that this is 1 step across, so I'm going to type in 1 here and then it's -2 along, and I'm going to launch the rocket to try and see, and it then succeeds. So you can have a go at playing the game to just practice having a go at knowing the coordinates. That's it for today's learning. I hope you found it useful. Have a go at improving your knowledge on the coordinates by playing the game, and I'll be back on Wednesday with another task. Thanks for now. Bye. I almost forgot, before I go, here's tomorrow's learning, which is practicing subtraction strategies. You've got the easiest ones here, slightly more difficult, and then the most difficult here. Have a go at which one you would like to. The answers are on the next page. So this is Tuesday's learning. Press pause now, have a go at them, and in a couple of seconds I'll put up the next slide. Okay, and here we are with the answers for the subtraction questions. For the second time, I'll say thank you and goodbye, and hopefully that'll be it for today. Thanks, bye.